Let's talk about neighbor sitting.
I've never had a relationship with a kid like our neighbor's kid prior to having Tate. She taught me a new way to love.
That is so spot on.
I feel like I'm about to get in an internet war with babysitters.
These sitters are getting expensive.
Would you go to space?
Yes.
Like you would go tomorrow?
Nah, it's tough because now I got Tate. I'm pretty risk adverse at the moment. Is that the house you want to buy? Because don't be blinded by his pressure he's putting on you.
What do you think?
I think you'd like it, but I think he's giving you a deadline. And he's
What do you think of the house?
I love the house. What do I think of the location? I don't know. What do I think of the housing? The house is a 10 out of 10.
When you shut your eyes, like, is that where you want to spend the next 5 years?
I have to go drive it again. I love the inside, but you know the 3 L's of real estate.
I actually don't.
Location, location, location.
All right, looks like we're talking at 4. So.
Okay, well, let's get this show on the road. Ready? Ready?
Yeah.
All right. Welcome back to Two Parents and a Podcast. Harrison.
Every time I think you're going to say 2 parents in a pod.
Welcome back to Two Parents and a Pod. I have a fun announcement for you.
I'd love to hear it.
Apple heard our conversation about phones. And they said, okay, so you don't want to give your kids an iPhone. What about an Apple Watch? What about a kid-friendly Apple Watch?
Oh, I'm out.
Oh, it's a great idea. You can call on it, you can track the Apple Watch, and you can Apple Pay on it. But there's no TikTok, there's no Instagram, there's no scroll in the interwide web. It's a great idea.
Okay, maybe back.
Yeah,
Wait,
best idea ever.
Wait, so please explain it to me.
So basically, it's a kid-friendly watch.
Yep.
And the idea is these parents that don't want to have social media on their kids' phones, but they want their kids to be safe and they want them to have a way to call them. Also a form of payment. Also a way to track them. All of that's on this Apple Watch.
Okay, I'm into this.
I'm very into it.
And, but I guess, could I do that for myself too?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, but there's no email, there's no social media, and there's no...
but it's for adults as well.
No, this is designed to be a kid watch. And so you can make like I think that the backgrounds are kid friendly, like it's a very kid-esque watch.
But I guess what I just realized, and we should probably set the stage for the viewer who didn't listen to the episode we're talking about. I said that, I guess this ties into 2 separate conversations we've had. The first conversation is how I want a different phone for after 5 p.m.
Yep.
Where the only thing that phone has is Google Maps, the ability to make and receive calls, and the ability to send text messages. I want it to have 0 social media, 0 video.
Because I got to blow up your spot here.
Yeah.
You have that app that's supposed to like limit your time.
Yeah, just turn it off all the time.
It's just an extra step. Just delete the app.
I now delete. I used to be every 15 minutes. I'd turn it off every 8 hours now.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, I've never one time seen that like time saver pop up and be like, you've been on TikTok too long. And then you proceed to get off TikTok.
No, but to keep the train on the track. So that was conversation 1 of what we want after 5 o'clock. And we were this week talking about boundaries of the phone in the home. Yep. And then number 2 is we've talked a lot about the book, The Anxious Generation, and how it suggests not giving your kid a smartphone until 16. And it ties anxiety and a whole bunch of mental health issues to the large scale penetration of smartphones with kids. And so this kind of could solve 2 birds with 1 stone. And what would you think of doing only Apple Watches in the house for us after a certain time?
I'd love to.
What would that time be appropriately?
5.
5 seems a little early.
6.
6 feels like pretty good.
Honestly, 7's also fine. I do think the 8, 9, 10 range, it needs to be off.
And we want to lock them in. Do we want to like put them in a drawer?
Sure, let's put them in a locker and they have to be turned in.
Okay.
And there's a very large penalty if you don't turn it in.
I like this.
I think it's a great idea.
I like this.
Speaking of penalties, do you want to talk about your penalty today? Should the clock strike midnight?
Nope.
And those clothes aren't put up?
Nope.
Harrison made me a bet, one that I welcomed with open arms.
This is just moving right along.
Okay. Let's talk about neighbor sitting. Here's the thing. We went on a date night last week, and because Harrison sent me a calendar invite for a date. I was very excited about it. We went to dinner, tried this new steakhouse near our house, and then we went to a concert, and it was lovely. But the thing is, Harrison did something very smart where he started the trend with our neighbors where we watch each other's babies on date night. Because these sitters are getting expensive. It was like $175 the other night.
Yeah, I I feel like I'm about to get in an internet war with babysitters. 3 things have not lined up with me on the babysitters.
Okay.
One is just the cancellations, which we talked about before. Mm-hmm. 2 is they're just super expensive. And then 3 is like we haven't gotten a cadence with a date, like with a regular babysitter. And so like reintroducing them to Tate and like what she likes and what she doesn't like, it just seems like so much effort. And so like that's been the one piece or one of the pieces that I feel like we like haven't figured out is like the right babysitter. And we've been talking for months with the neighbors about doing the neighbor swap instead of a babysitter, where once a week they watch our kid and once a week we watch their kid. And yeah, I finally wanted to put it into play. And it kind of feels like both like the guys were really wanted to like push it forward and you and her were kind of like a little more don't ask. And so I just like, yeah, I went direct.
So
like I didn't ask your permission to do it. I just went to them and was like, I think we should rip the Band-Aid off. And they were like, hell yeah. And so it went great.
I thought it did go great, but my issue with it is I don't think I felt guilty the whole time. Like when you're paying a babysitter, you know you're slotted till 10. With the neighbors, I just felt, I don't know why. And I know it's like a people pleaser problem, but I was just like, oh, we should go back and get them. Because like I know that their baby goes to bed earlier. Ours was probably still up. And I just had this guilt.
And that's why like I really want us to return the favor ASAP.
Yeah,
because we haven't done it yet. Because we loved spending time with their daughter so much that like I think once we do it and you experience like, oh, this isn't like really an added lift, then hopefully that feeling goes away.
But my thing with the babysitters is I don't think we just haven't found our girl yet. Once we find her, it will be off to the races. That's all it is. We just need to find our person.
Yeah, I love the neighbor swap. Like I love it. And
me too, but it's not for
Tate
every
also
night.
loves them and they love Tate. And yeah, it's not for every night, but I'm really glad we have it in the mix.
Yeah, me too. Okay, so the other thing that I would like to talk about is I saw this video talking about how some husband and wife, they don't even have like assigned cars. They just have you go outside and whoever's car's parked in the back, that's the one you take. And then some people don't even have assigned sides of the bed. They just, whoever gets in bed first gets on the other side. And I just want to let you know, I would never sleep on your side of the bed.
Yeah, I think that not having a dedicated side of bed is one of the crazier moves I've heard of as it pertains to relationship, like routine and dynamics. Like it's your side. It's
your pillow, your bedside table. Like my Aquaphor is on my side.
But you do a psycho move where you mix up our pillows way too often.
No, I never mix up our pillows. You think you don't wash your face, which is no problem. But your face, your pillow is not touching my face.
I have not washed my face in 20 years.
And so do you think I'm
15 to 20 years?
Do you think I'm swapping our pillows?
I don't get zits.
But I would never.
I think washing
your
your face gets you more zits.
Listen, I just think objectively, if we had a skin test, if people wanted your skin or my skin, I think they'd pick mine. I just do.
I think I just don't. I'm not a face wash guy.
You had a zit yesterday, and I pointed it out to you, and you said you need to have more fun.
And it went right away. It went away right away.
You told me, I said you got a
zit.
zit.
Is the zit there? Do his little zoom in on the HD.
And he
I'm sure
said,
he can do that.
Alex, you need to have more fun. And I was like, fun? What does that have to do with it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Where were we
Nonsense
going?
coming out of my mouth right now.
We were going somewhere, and I was like, well.
It's a crazy move, bottom line.
To what? Not have
a side of the bed.
Oh, also on the account of like your feet. Because like, what if you like tracked dirt in the bed?
When we met, you were not a germaphobe. And the most lasting change that pregnancy has brought to you and having a kid has brought to you is you're now a germaphobe.
Yeah. I like things to be clean. Really clean.
Yep.
Yeah, that's okay with me. So Also, let's talk about weight loss by Hers, because through weight loss by Hers, you can give yourself something to be excited about in 2025. You can spend the new year in control of your weight by losing up to an average of 9 pounds in your first month. This is based on data that real Hers customers have reported based on their personalized compounded GLP-1 treatment plans. Let's face it, weight loss can be overwhelming, but Hers is changing the game, you guys. Hers is transforming women's healthcare by providing access to affordable weight loss treatment plans delivered straight to your door if prescribed. So, if you've been struggling with your weight loss journey, it's time to find the best option that works for you through Hers. Start your initial free online visit today at forhers.com/Alex. That's forhers.com/Alex for your personalized weight loss treatment options. forhers.com/Alex. Hers weight loss is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions apply. Wegovy and Ozempic are not compounded. Actual price depends on product and plan purchased.
I'm going to tell a Zillow story.
This is a great time for that.
So my weekly average on Zillow, and we can probably put this up there, is like somewhere, I looked at my like last 4 weeks, somewhere between like an hour and a half and 2 hours a week.
No, that's false. It's got to be way more than that.
No, that's just on my mobile.
Okay.
Not on my desktop.
Okay.
For some reason, it doesn't track between the two. Zillow is my number one used service. I love it.
I believe it. I
like,
want you.
A friend of ours moved into a new place. They were telling us about the place. I told them the history of the place. I'd spoken to the real estate agent. I knew about the buyer. I knew what their focus was. I knew that they were, had moved to New York, yada, yada, yada. Pride and joy. I wake up every morning, and what I do every morning on Zillow is I set the time span to listings over the past day so I can see just what popped up overnight. So I look last. I'm the Zillow guy. Uh-huh. Do we agree?
Yeah.
The house that we've been referencing throughout this episode.
That we love.
I've never seen. So who found that house?
Me.
Our Zillow ratios, and you're a Zillow girl too, but I thought I was like the king of Zillow.
I just downloaded Zillow last week.
You're a Zillow master.
I'm very good at it. It's not about how long you spend on the app. It's how efficient you are when you're on it.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it didn't take me long.
It is like, it is, I spend more time on it than I do TikTok.
But I'm a lot more decisive in terms of houses. Like I can just filter through and be like, yes, no, maybe. And then like.
I do so much because the Austin real estate market's been going down. I just look at I could tell you the house, the like list price versus where they are today is like one of my favorite things to watch.
You're also like a dreamer too. Like you'll kind of like bring me a house. I'm like, this is probably it. If I had $1 for every time it's like, this is it, I'd have like $20. You'll bring me a house and you're like, this is it. Now hear me out. It's 1,000 square feet, but it's on a lot of land. It's a big lot size. We could add on to it. And I'm like, I don't want to add on to a house with a 5-month-old. But I did tell you I would do it. It would be a fun project with you.
Yeah. I think I've talked about this. Like we built a house growing up. And so when I remember seeing that house versus what it became, like I saw what you can make something, and I really want to do that. And I understand you don't do that now, but hopefully for our next house, we do it.
And for the OGs listening, you guys know that I worked for Jennifer Welch Interior Designs, and I do understand the power of a remodel.
Yeah, I don't think you understand the power.
God.
Let me go. I don't think you understand the power and like of a financially responsible remodel.
I do. I do more than you.
Every time we talk about the remodel, you're like, that's going to be this much. This is so expensive. I'm like, just like, no, it's not.
I just marble slabs, and you just get in there and it always costs more than you think it's going to. Maybe I'm wrong. I think I'm right.
I think you can do it in a much more price
savvy
way. Thank you.
There was something I was going to say about houses. Oh, Harrison's got this new thing going on where let's say our lease does end April 15th. Okay. But what if we don't have a house that we love until June 15th? He's proposing we go live in Paris for that time, which you guys know, like.
What did Julie just say?
Julie's not saying anything.
Julie just worded something.
No, you're staring at me. I'm like,
Julie said, I want to go to Paris too.
Julie said, I can't believe that.
Would Julie come?
Sure. Julie and P can both come to Paris and we can do a whole party over there. But the thing is, it's funny because that's right. That is on my level of spontaneity. Okay. I love it.
Julie in Paris, a new show.
I just we have a 5-month-old. She'll be 6 months old at that time.
Julie and Ginny in Paris.
Oh my God.
Okay. Hey, I respect. Moving on.
Oh my gosh. It would be fun. I think Paris would be fun. I just
No, what I asked you.
No. I'm not mad at you for this. You have to understand. I love that you proposed this. That is so much fun. That is the kind of stuff I love.
My concern is what I asked you was, do you want to be patient and deal with a short-term housing situation while we find what we want, or do you just want to make a decision in our specific time window before April 15th, which may not be our ideal housing situation, because a lot of stuff is coming to market.
What did I say?
You said that you really don't want to be you really don't want to move twice, but you would if you think that's the right thing to do. And so as such, I kind of feel like we shouldn't put an offer in on this house today.
Okay. I'm with you on that. I do. There is a number that I do think you should just offer. And if they accept it, whoa.
Okay.
That's what I don't understand is if you can get that house for X.
Okay.
I mean, I'll live there, wouldn't you? I love that house. You guys, let's talk about Hungry Root because we are all busy. But one thing's for sure. We all need to be fed and we do not want to have bad meals. We want to have good meals, but we want them to be easy and convenient. Enter Hungry Root. Hungry Root is like having your own personal shopper. They take care of the weekly grocery shopping, recommending healthy groceries tailored to your tastes, nutrition preferences, and health goals. It's actually very fun. You take the quiz online. You tell them if you want breakfast, lunch, or dinner and what kind of dietary restrictions you have. And then the box arrives to your front door and opening it is a very fun surprise. They make grocery shopping simple and stress-free. Just tell them your goals and preferences and they'll fill your cart for you with personalized recommendations that get smarter as they learn more about what you like or didn't love. Hungry Root has great options for the whole family with healthy groceries like smoothies, kid snacks, sweets, ready-to-eat meals, salad kits, and even supplements. There's no high fructose corn syrup, artificial sweeteners, or preservatives in any of Hungry Root's food. They only source top quality meat and seafood free of hormones and antibiotics. You guys are going to love Hungry Root as much as me, Harrison, and Tate did. Take advantage of this exclusive offer. For a limited time, get 40% off your first box, plus get a free item in every box for life. Go to hungryroot.com/justalex and use promo code JustAlex. That's hungryroot.com/justalex, code JustAlex to get 40% off your first box and free item of your choice for life. hungryroot.com/justalex, code JustAlex.
Yeah, I'm interested in it. But
this is the problem, you guys. He's and we will not offer it. And then I'll be it's good for this price. And he's I totally agree. What?
Well, I think I'm easier to please on the housing front than you.
And I am okay.
And my biggest concern would be that we move somewhere and that you have an issue with it. Because I'm a dreamer, as you say, when it comes to the home. So I see, yeah.
There's a lot of different paths you could take.
So getting your approval is going to be harder than getting my approval.
But I've loved this house since the moment I walked in it.
But what are the 3 L's of real estate?
Location, location, location.
So moving on, what else do we have to talk about?
You've got a sunscreen war happening in your TikTok. And what is it about?
So I uploaded a video of you talking to Tate on the boat, and
a lot of people are very happy we have her in a life jacket. Not only a life jacket, you guys, it is a Coast Guard approved life jacket.
Yeah.
We're a safety first family. The life jacket doesn't come off. That is our most precious asset.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Sorry, what were we talking about?
She loves the life jacket too. At first she didn't, and now she's learned to like it. And she coos.
I saw a bunch of people. I'm gonna bring the trains back on the track.
Okay.
I saw a bunch of people kind of getting in the mud on sunscreen in the comments on the video because you talked about sunscreen. So I've learned a couple things.
Okay, but define learned. You read them in the comment section?
No, I just saw they were arguing. So I if we're honest, didn't read comment section. I just saw a bunch of sunscreen, this back and forth, and then like someone calling someone else a Karen and whatever. So I went to ChatGPT, as I always do, and I explained. I just kind of put the situation in. So the things I learned: number one, you cannot put sunscreen on babies under 6 months.
I've told you that 1,000 times. You did not learn that just now. That's why she doesn't wear sunscreen yet.
Okay. I thought she didn't wear sunscreen because we kept her out of the sun.
We do keep her out of the sun because she can't wear sunscreen because she's under 6 months old.
So that definitely makes a lot more sense now. But number two is people are just very mad about what is in sunscreen and the chemicals that are in sunscreen and a lot of different issues that they're tied to. So
I know like aloe's good for your face, and the natural version of aloe you could buy at the store, and it's an aloe plant. But what is nature's form of sunblock in its truest form? What is it? What do you put on?
Well, I didn't research that, but what I researched is, we got a hand up.
Zinc. It's okay. I thought so. The white zinc. So
Julie said zinc.
I'm okay with her putting zinc on eventually.
Well, what ChatGPT said to wear was mineral-based sunscreens with zinc oxide or titanium dioxide. And what it said to avoid was oxybenzone, octinoxate, going to butcher all these, homosalate, avobenzone, octocrylene.
We probably don't need these.
Retinol palamite.
We probably don't need them listed.
Yeah, we do. Because they're hormone disruptors.
Oh.
And they're linked to endocrine disruption, potential reproductive harm, potential thyroid effects, potential reproductive toxicity, potential skin irritation and allergic reaction, potential cancer risks. So, sunscreen is, this whole sunscreen phenomenon was not on my radar.
But I think that there's more of a risk for cancer if you don't wear it.
But I think the point is you got to wear the right ones.
Yeah, I think zinc oxide sounds like
because it does make, in theory, a lot of sense that like if you're putting chemicals on your skin and then they're bleaching into your skin, that's also very bad.
Yeah, I think you got a body wash problem then. I think.
Well, maybe we're working on a body wash.
Are you?
Yeah.
Well, that's so exciting.
As an extension of Plastic Purge.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We're really proud of you. We didn't know.
We're working on a bunch of extensions from the laundry detergent.
Okay.
Yeah. All undergoing testing right now.
It's important work. Thank you for doing it.
Yeah. I didn't have the whole sunscreen thing on my radar.
Well, you might need to work on a sunscreen. Although I think that things in their purest form is good. So I think zinc works. Although it's a bit white, but it's fine. I was watching Landman, and she gets the Cisco oil and puts that on her to fry.
Okay. As long as there's no spoilers.
That's not a spoiler. All right. So this week's episode is a bit fun. Do you know why?
Why?
We have voicemails we're going to listen to. 2 voicemails from listeners. So what we did was we put on the Instagram story, and we were like, guys, give us voicemails. And think about it like this. Table topics. So you're sitting at the dinner table with your parent friends, and these are the things we talk about. It could be relationships, personal finance, parenting topics, pop culture, whatever you want to ask us about. So we've chosen to listen to today.
Well, so is this a new segment?
It's the meat and bones. Sometimes we have our own meat and bones. Sometimes we have listener questions.
So it sounds like a temporary segment that we're trying called
It's a test.
Table Topics.
Exactly.
Okay.
Let's talk about MeUndies because you guys, I absolutely love my MeUndies that I got. Underwear drawers are like the Wild West of wardrobes. There's no rhyme or reason to them. I think we can all relate. Anything goes. You've got pairs from 3 birthdays and 2 Christmases ago, pairs from 5 different brands with 5 different fits. When you open the door every morning, you have no idea what to expect. It is just like going in blind. Now that I felt this buttery soft comfort though of MeUndies, my other pairs have got to go because MeUndies is all I reach for. You guys, seriously, they are cute, but they are so comfy. They have styles for everyone, from all black classics, which is what I have, to fun, expressive prints. MeUndies has a look for everyone. Plus, they come in sizes extra small to 4XL, guaranteeing a flattering cut for everybody. The loungewear is so versatile. This place is not just about underwear. You can explore the lounge collection featuring comfy joggers, hoodies, onesies, and more. And Their Move Me activewear collection is the softest activewear on the market. So get 20% off your first order plus free shipping on orders of $75 or more. Go to meundies.com/Alex, enter promo code Alex. That's meundies, meundies.com/Alex. Code Alex for 20% off. MeUndies, comfort from the outside in. Okay, you ready for our first voicemail?
Am I allowed to be on my phone?
Nope, you need to be a full attentive listener. And here's Casey.
Here we go.
Hi, Alex. I have a question and I'm excited to get your feedback on it. So, my husband and I have been married for 4 years, and for context, he is 12 years older than me. Ever since we started dating, through when we got married, him and I have both been very much on the same page about not wanting kids. And I'm starting to have a change in heart. Just seeing women around me in my life, my friends, my family, and my sisters, watching them step into motherhood is making me really think that that's something I want to experience myself. So I brought this up to my husband, and he has declared that this is a major deal breaker for him and not something that he's willing to budge on. I'm starting to feel like I'm not really willing to budge on it either, as I'm feeling called to be a mom, and I am curious what your feedback is and what you would do if you were in my shoes. Thank you.
Wow, what do you think? So basically, she now wants kids. Would no kids for you be a deal breaker?
I never really knew my stance on kids. And I think I always wanted them, but I just didn't know when the time would be right. And then I met you and I was like, okay, it's time for kids. So I feel like this question was directed towards you. And I feel like it's a funny dynamic of, being asked such an advice-heavy question, but I'm curious. I guess where it has a lot of relevance for you is like you walked away from a marriage, like you got divorced,
yeah,
and so I see. What do you think?
Well, I say this now, having a kid, if you even have the slightest desire to have one, I could see how if you didn't, you would wake up in 10, 20 years and be really sad about that. Now, if you knew you never wanted kids and you were firm on that, then I think it's no problem. But if you have even the slightest itch starting and somebody else is holding you back from that, I could see how resentment would really grow. Now, I'll say this on my marriage. There's a little similarity in the sense of, and I don't want to get like too deep into this, but we were never going to move back to Oklahoma was a discussed point. And then one day he wanted to. And this is similar in terms of like minds changing. And here's the thing about it. Him moving back to Oklahoma was what was going to make him happy, and I didn't want to stop that. Right? And so I do think when you get married young, you can have a change of heart later in life, and it can be on things that are deal breakers. Now, moving cities wasn't our only problem, right? But I think kids could be a massive deal breaker because we've seen how that fully changes your life and the trajectory of your life and how much happiness it can bring you. And so if I wanted kids and you didn't, I think that would be so tough.
Sorry, I had a thing in my throat.
It's okay. I really feel for this person that
Yeah, I really feel for this person, and I also like really understand how it's weird because like we don't know how old they were when they got married, but like I do understand how your view on this can change because it went from something that I really didn't have like a true gut feeling around to one day it like smacking me across the face on how much I wanted it.
But why do you think that changed?
I think it was about finding the right person.
Because what you had said to your family when you became single was you didn't want kids. You were like, leave me alone. Not that you didn't want kids, but you were like, you guys leave me alone on the kid front for 5 years.
Yeah.
But then we met and it just like changed.
Yeah. And I think kids to me were always like almost one of those things that I figured like I would do when the time felt right. The time just never felt right. And so what changed it from the time feeling right to not was was the person. And if not, it otherwise always kind of felt like, okay, so a check the box of life phases. And it was like, it's a pretty big box to check for the sake of doing something that society just does.
Right. But as opposed to feeling it and wanting it.
Totally.
I do think, too, it makes sense if she's watching her friends. Did she say her friends and her sister become moms? Yeah. That to me makes a lot of sense. You watch that and I think that gives you clarity. Like, I do want that or I don't. Like, you have your friends that are dads and I think you can say that that's something I can see myself doing or not.
Yeah, and I guess on that note, like, it is remarkable how quickly, it's not quickly, it is remarkable how much life has changed over a 5 to 10 year period. And like my friends and what they were doing 5+ years ago is what they're doing today is very different. And it's been a lot of fun over the past 18 months going plus minus going through that phase with them. As that's I don't know.
So what do you think you would say to this girl?
Luckily, she asked you.
I would say that this is a tough one because divorce can be a very, very, very scary thing. I remember how scared I was. It didn't even feel like a real option. But what's also scary is waking up, when you're 70 and not having had kids because you wanted them. And I think you're going to have to weigh which one's more important to you. Does that seem fair?
Yeah, I think that there's very few deal breakers that I personally have around relationships. And I think that hopefully in our relationship, when we have differences, which obviously we do a lot, that our mindset is like, 1, do you want to work through this problem? And then 2, are we prepared to actually put the work in to solve it? And I feel like the answer to that has always been yes. But there are going to be areas where we draw a line in the sand. And I do think that kids is one of those areas for a lot of people. So I understand why, that can be as hard as it is to walk, a reason to walk.
But I think there's a difference between you can say, okay, we need to change our communication styles. Are we both down to work on that? Yes. Well, you can't change wanting a kid.
That's why I said it's a deal breaker.
Yeah, it could. I think it could be.
Or what sounds like a deal breaker.
Yeah, I do see. It's. I can't think of anything. Okay, there's a couple of things I could think of that would be this life altering, but kids is just like a number one thing. And maybe he'll soften his views on it a bit, but maybe he says absolutely not. I do think don't be afraid to bring it up to him. I would say this, take it or leave it, but don't be afraid to have a change of heart. Don't suppress your change of heart. I think that if we were married for 10 years and we never wanted kids, but then one day I started to want them, I think that it would be really good for me to tell you and not just suppress that.
For sure. For sure. And it's obviously a weird place because as two people that have only been together for, 18 months, it's weird to be giving couple and relationship advice. And so I think a lot of it stems from, our decades of prior dating and marriage, with no qualifications. But yeah, I think we very much have that mindset of when one comes to the other with something, having an open mind.
Yeah.
But also understanding where our firm lines are, because I think it's also become clear we do have firm lines each.
Yeah, and I think another important thing is asking yourself, do you want kids or do you want kids with this person? Because if the answer is yes, I want kids, I don't know if this is the person.
Yeah.
That's definitely a daunting.
But I also I didn't have any feelings to kids. Any true feelings for kids before we had Tate.
I really
and now
didn't either.
my relationship, even with our neighbor's kid, I've never had a relationship with a kid like our neighbor's kid prior to having Tate. She taught me a new way to love, a new way to care.
Oh, that is so spot on.
Which is why I'm so pro the neighbor share.
The nanny share? The neighbor.
The neighbor nanny.
The neighbor babysitting.
The neighbor babysitting. Sorry.
I'll say this about it. I used to never even want photos of kids, and now I want every photo of every kid.
I'm still not there.
Oh, I think they're just
Unless
precious.
I know them.
I want to hold them. I just think babies are so sweet. They occupy so much of my brain.
I'd actually disagree. Sorry, I want not disagree. I want to change my thoughts. I'm thinking of a couple of, funny enough, your friends' kids that I really enjoy seeing the photos of them when they come up online.
You love some of them.
Yeah.
You're always just like, look at this one.
One of them I haven't even met.
That's so funny.
You know who I'm talking about.
I do.
Yeah.
I do know who you're talking about.
Yeah. She is a little doll.
She's just
But I DM the mom and we talk about how they're going to be friends.
Aw, Tate and that baby.
Yeah.
That's cute. Good job. You guys know I love Magnetic Me. If you follow me on Instagram, Tate is always in Magnetic Me. And guess who else is? Me. They are the best, softest, cutest pajamas and little kids' clothes, baby clothes, newborn clothes on the planet, because you'll learn if you have a baby, it's like changing a cat. And when you have to change the diaper, there is nothing better than having it magnet closed. Tate was just in her little alphabet onesie last night. So not having to mess with buttons and zippers every time you change your baby is the best thing ever. All of Magnetic Me's clothing has magnetic closures that make dressing time quick and easy. You need to try these for your babies. You also need to gift them to new parents to be or new moms to be, because they are truly the best thing ever. Reading books, more tummy time, watching your favorite show, spending time with the family. Now you've got time for all of that because you are just zipping up, not zipping, you are magneting up those magnets. So do what we did and make changing time easier for you and your baby so you can spend more time doing the things you love. Order Magnetic Me today for yourself as a great gift for any parent. Go to magneticme.com. New customers will get 15% off their first order. Don't wait. That's magneticme.com. You guys, I truly am obsessed with Magnetic Me. Okay, so that's voicemail number 1. Okay, now let's do voicemail number 2.
Hey, Alex and Harrison. So I'm looking for some advice. I'm from a small town and everyone knows everyone and your last name matters. And I feel like the same thing happens every single weekend. My friends have kids and I don't. I'm scared that if I stay here, my life will be boring, but I'm also super scared to move away. I've never done a big change like that. And I know that you both broke away from like similar lifestyles. So what is your advice to someone like me?
Well, I would say,
Want me to kick it off?
yeah.
I've found that I've personally grown the most through my experiences in living in different cities, living in different countries, and traveling. Removing my backbone or taking me out of my comfort zone, removing a lot of that imminent support just really pushed me to get in uncomfortable situations, learn about myself, and ultimately land where I am today, which is just I'm a very happy person. So yeah. I think that while I love Vancouver and I love my friends in Vancouver and I love my family, I also recognize that city's not the best city for me. And I could only realize that because I had so many experiences in living in other places. And I think the beauty of leaving is you can always go back.
That's the thing. It'll always be there. You know, I wonder, did she say how old she was? This girl? No. I do wonder how old she is because what?
I think that moving forward, if this segment sticks, we should request listeners leave their age.
I agree. I would love to know this person's age because I do think it's tough to move. If you didn't go to college out of state and then to pick up and move, you're removing your safety nets, you're removing your comfort zone. It's a daunting idea. But I will tell you, the more you do it, the more fun it gets. And there is something about getting out of your comfort zone that really lets you find you in your most true form, I think. It's the only way I've been able to find myself was to move and, because then you have to show up and you meet people and you're like your most raw self. They don't know your parents. They don't know your family. All they know is you. And that can be a really empowering thing. And it helps you form your confidence. It helps you form your people skills of talking to people. And you have to talk about things other than other people. Because you don't know any of the other people. And so you're forced to say, okay, what are some other topics that I find interesting? And I like really love that. I crave that type of conversation. So I would say, basically her question was, here's what I think. It's tough. She's caught up in the mix and she wants to get out of it. I say move. That's what I would tell her. I say jump because you only live once. And it's like Harrison said, if you move, you can always go back home.
Yeah, I think this is one that I feel very equipped to share my experiences on, and that is take a shot, move. If you don't like it, move back.
Would you say try to give it a year though? Everyone always told me a year. Austin I found to be faster than a year, but
yeah, when I look at all the cities I've lived in, the first 3 to 6 months is typically a pretty tough time. That's when you can deal with some lonely, Friday and Saturday nights. But part of that also brings growth.
It's good
right?
for you.
Because you don't have anyone to go and hang out with. And so, you end up walking or getting dinner by yourself. And yeah, I think 12 months is probably the right time to feel out whether or not you like a place. And one of the things that I really like to do before moving somewhere, and we did it with Austin, is go somewhere and don't go there for the weekend. Go there during the week. Mm-hmm. And I call it, the cup of coffee, test, even though it's not a test, but I guess you're testing a city. And that's, leverage your network whatever way possible and go to that city and try and get as many cups of coffee with people as you can and understand what their day-to-day life is like in that city. And I feel like that gives you as good of a pulse as you can on what you would potentially think and getting a read on what's a coffee shop like there on a Tuesday and so on and so forth.
I think that's really good advice. I really would urge this person to try it. I think if you feel caught up in the same cycle and if your friends are starting to have families, XYZ, and you crave more, now is the time. There's no time like the present. And so, I would really urge her to go try it.
Do we have any other listener questions?
There are, but those were the chosen ones. And so you guys, we're going to put up the link and that you can call on the Instagram stories. And I'm going to put it on TikTok. We'll sprinkle it around a couple places, but call us and leave us your voicemails. It's like a voice note, I guess.
Love it.
Okay, now let's move on to the one and only things we DM'd each other. Harrison, you DM'd me about the airplanes. Timely because we're flying tomorrow.
Yeah, so I feel like my social feeds are all about these airplane crashes and all these airplane incidents. As you know, I'm a nervous flyer.
Yes.
And so it felt like there was way more going on this year than other years. And I saw an article. Pardon?
Infinitely, it seems like.
So I saw an article comparing January and February of 2024 versus January, February of 2025.
Plane crashes?
So both total accidents and fatal accidents. And there's been significantly less this year than there have been last year. So there's been 42% less accidents. So 99 this year and 173 in 2024.
Is this just aviation?
This is Jan and Feb, plane.
Plane.
Yeah. And then fatal accidents, 54.8% less. So there's been 14 fatal accidents this year, and there was 31 fatal accidents in Jan and Feb of last year.
What?
Yeah.
I don't even know how that's possible. I feel like it's all over my feed.
Yeah, it's. I found that really surprising as well.
I guess I find it a bit comforting. I don't know. I just feel like every week I open up my phone and it's just like, oh my gosh, another plane crash.
Yeah, and this is stuff
It's so sad. Okay, well that's a good stat, I guess. It's in the right direction. Ugh.
Under a dark topic.
Yeah. Okay. What I DM'd you was that Katy Perry's going to space.
Interesting. I did not see this DM.
Okay, so Blue Origin,
Yeah.
Bezos deal.
Yeah.
They're doing a trip to space. Basically, it's like 11 minutes. I think it said it's 11 minutes.
Is that really going to space then?
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to space. It's the first all-female, what do you call it, rocket? Passengers. Aside from in like 1968, there was another all-female, but there's only one female.
Okay.
Like it was a solo trip.
Okay.
And so, but the person that's put this one together is Lauren Sanchez, who's Bezos' fiance.
Yeah.
Didn't know she was a pilot. I was reading this.
She's the pilot?
No, she's not the pilot, but I was reading on BBC and they were like, Lauren Sanchez, journalist and pilot. And I was like, what?
Well, we'll need a...
Journalist. She is. She's got her helicopter license.
Okay.
I went and Googled it. Anyway, she picked the crew. So it's Gail King, who's the news reporter, Katy Perry, and then there's a scientist.
And what do you think of all this?
I think it's cool.
Would you go to space?
Yes.
Really?
No questions asked. They've had a lot of successful trips, though. So
Even if
now
it-
I would go.
Okay. Like you would go tomorrow?
Now it's tough because now I got Tate. I'm pretty risk adverse at the moment for the rest of my life.
Yeah, where my take on this actually goes is like, I don't think 11 minutes classifies as going to space. Like, I think you need to go up there and you need to like hang out. You need to have a meal.
No, I think they're
Okay.
they're 11 minutes
Okay.
over like the barrier of the.
No, so let me go here because, as you know, Alex Cost and I, we
Go to space.
we're trying to go to every country in the world.
Yes.
Okay. And we had to come up with some ground rules on what defines actually visiting a country. And our definition of whether or not you visited a country is you have an experience outside of the airport. So a memorable experience outside the airport.
So if you had a 10-hour layover and you left and went and saw the Eiffel Tower and then left, does that count?
Exactly, that would count.
Okay.
But if you're connecting through Frankfurt, Germany, and you're just in the airport and have a Wiener Schnitzel, that does not count. But if you go and you leave the airport and you take a taxi to the closest town and get a Wiener Schnitzel at that town, that would count as a memorable experience outside of the airport. So Ben, for example, was in Colombia. He was connecting in Colombia after they'd won some big World Cup match. And he left the airport, went downtown, partied in some like parade, had a couple beers, and then went back. And that was like our prototype definition for what counts and what doesn't count.
I really like that.
Yeah.
I agree.
So bringing it back to space, I think if you're just kind of going up there, having a high five and coming back, it doesn't really feel like you're leaving the airport.
I think that they are leaving the solar. There's some term.
Yeah, but like you got to be up there for a bit. I don't know.
Katy Perry flight.
I don't know. Love that it's all women. Love that like they're technically doing it, but
Yeah. So
what
what
you
can
got to
the,
like spend a night?
what can the crew expect during the 11-minute journey? Astronauts soar past the Kármán line, the internationally recognized boundary of space, experiencing several minutes of weightlessness and witnessing life-changing views of Earth.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
I would do it in a minute.
I'm too scared of a flyer to do it right now.
I think it's pretty cool stuff, though.
It is very cool. I'm just being a bit of a hater.
I saw Gail say that she was scared. I get that. I understand being scared. I understand accepting, but also being scared.
Gail.
Gail King. Isn't Oprah's best friend named Gail?
I think her husband's named Gail.
No, I think Oprah and Gail. Pretty sure her best friend's name is Gail.
Shout out Oprah.
Oprah. All right. Brain break. Waymo. I'm not so sure everyone listening knows what Waymo is. Is it just an Austin thing? I'm sure they have it in San Francisco.
Yeah, I think it's a San Francisco-based company, and now they're rolling out to a bunch of different cities. And the Austin takeover has been real.
You can't leave the house without seeing a Waymo. And they are the self-driving cars with the little brrr things, the black things on all corners spinning in circles.
Yeah.
The cameras on top. They're Jaguar F-Paces, I think. And they're Waymos. And there's nobody driving them. And now I've seen a Waymo stumped a couple times. Flashing red light. It did not know what to do there. And in the Whole Foods parking lot, I saw a stuck Waymo. And I laugh every time I see a Waymo. I just think, oh, there's the Waymo, Waymoing around.
What do you think of these?
Listen, I would assume, and I don't know, they are probably safer than human drivers.
Yeah, I think the statistics are pretty clearly reflect that.
And they're darn sure not texting and driving.
No?
And I like that. You know, and they're not looking over there at that car, that new paint color. They're paying full attention. But anyways, well, what do you think of them? Have you ridden in one?
I have not rode in one. I'm conflicted on this one because on one end, I'm like a pro technology person.
You're also an early adopter.
I love technological advancement, and yeah, I would describe myself as an early adopter. But this is one where like my old man tendencies are like really kicking in. Like I just want to like yell at them.
Why?
I don't know. They just like, they infuriate me.
Oh, they're doing the best they can.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're just doing
Like,
so good.
By definition, I think I would love them. But in reality, I just like, they drive me crazy.
Why? You know.
So get a driver in the car.
No.
I just want to yell at them.
But then you would want to yell at the driver. You know?
I don't know. The freaking thing just twisting around at the top. And
It's just trying to help society function better.
In theory, I should love it. In reality,
you know, I wasn't sure. I hadn't really fully formed my thoughts until this conversation, and now I'd really like to make a case for the Waymo. I think that they're trying to have safer drivers. I think they're safer for everyone.
that's literally what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm for it. So,
I am technically for it. In reality, I see them and my blood boils.
but doesn't
It's
your
like, you fucking nerd.
but doesn't your blood boil when you see a driver that's just like texting and driving and stuck at a green light, holding it all up? Doesn't that make you more mad?
I don't know. I can't describe this one.
Yeah, no, I think I get it. I do understand. I just I can't help but feel sorry for the Waymo. So the purpose of this is the brain break is Jules sent us a video of a scooter guy. He was scootering and he fell in front of a Waymo and the Waymo swerved and missed him. And scientists were saying humans wouldn't have the reaction time to swerve around him and they would have hit this guy. But the Waymo, because of the technology, swerved around it. Which is pretty incredible.
Yeah, so I think the way they track the safety of all this stuff, to my understanding, is like miles driven per accident. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that Tesla like loves to tout is their miles driven per accident on autonomous mode is significantly lower than human mode. I'm sure there's like some stat that we can pull up which supports that, regardless of what you think about Tesla. And so, like, yeah, the people behind these autonomous vehicles, like, they are very vocal that they are safer than humans.
Not even
and
Tesla.
the stats really seem to reflect this.
Self-driving vehicles in general.
Yeah.
If the technology is done correctly. I do think removing human error is probably a good thing in terms of driving.
Yeah, it's a great thing.
And so there was,
but like sometimes you just need to be an old man and yell at the clouds, and like this is like my moment. Like, let me yell at the clouds.
I'm for it. I just want to defend the cloud. It's just like a hard worker. Think about it that way.
It's taking hard workers' jobs.
That's less good. But there's probably people at the Waymo factory working.
You know, I'm a firm believer. Yes,
saving lives.
The economic benefit of AI and autonomous vehicles, and I do actually love them. I'm just like being.
You like them more than me.
I do like them.
I'm just defending them. Okay. Well, that was a lovely episode.
Well,
I liked the call-ins.
Good.
Okay. Well, guys, if you're listening to this, we were at Expo West, or at it right now, hanging out in Orange County, California, and we will see you guys next week.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Two Parents in a Podcast, powered by Just Media House. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, rate, and review. Stay connected on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook at Two Parents in a Pod. Welcome to our home. Sorry it's so messy. New episodes every Thursday.